Namaskar and a very warm welcome to the 16th edition of the Phone In program. I'm Nidhi Kumar and you're watching India Science. India is facing one of the biggest healthcare challenges in recent years, friends. There is a shortage, or there was a shortage of oxygen, and there is still a shortage of hospital beds and drugs. Looking at the surge of the second wave in corona. But we are here to give you the news that vaccines work and they work against this deadly mutations and this deadly virus. Bharat Biotech Covaxin has shown a 78% efficacy according to the ICMR. It can neutralize a double mutant strain. More good news, if you are above the age of 18 years, within 48 hours, you can now register for the COVID-19 vaccination, which is scheduled to begin from the 1st of May. India's cumulative vaccination coverage exceeds 14.19 crore as the largest vaccination drive completes over 100 days. With over 2.19 lakh recoveries in the last 24 hours, 10 lakh vaccination doses were administered in the last 24 hours. In today's phone-in program, you can ask your questions live and we take your queries live. So today we are joined by Dr. Debabrata Mukherjee, consultant neurosurgeon, Kailash Healthcare, New Delhi. Namaste and welcome to India Science. Thank you so much for joining us in these turbulent times, and we hope all of you are safe over there. I want to ask you a question, sir, to begin with, which is that how do you look at the mutations that are happening? This morning people are talking about the Sri Lankan mutation. So what is exactly the nature of these mutations and why are they mutating in such a fast manner? And we are told that the vaccines are an effective shield against them. So it is important to take that jab, India. You must go and take both the vaccines. It is going to help. Let's hear from the doctor. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is true. This virus is mutating like any other virus. This virus is also mutating. So last year it was 1, now it is mutant 2, 3, and there are some reports of the Sri Lankan variety also. They can sustain in the air up to 1 hour and they are more deadly, they spread faster. But yes, it is a different type of scenario we are getting this year. The symptoms of the patient has changed. It is a short, they have a short clinical period and symptoms are different in a way. There is more X in the body. I get in conjunctivitis, diarrhea, abdominal pain. It is little different. The symptoms are little different than what was happening last year. And the worst part is there are large number of patients. The surge of patients is it is really deadly. And it is with a limited resources, it is very difficult to manage such a huge influx of patients.
Absolutely. The healthcare is absolutely, undoubtedly overstretched at this possible time. Yeah. And we at India Science would like to say thank you to all the frontline workers and all the doctors who are serving all of us and so patiently. Thank you so much from all of us. We're joined by the first caller today, Rahul from Delhi. Namaste, Rahul ji. Please ask your question.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. Ma'am, my question is, what should I look for in my CT scan? What are the spots on the lungs? Should I worry if they put me on steroid for my lungs?
Yes, sometimes the doctors in advanced disease, they recommend to get the CT scan chest done. So what they see is the consolidations or some spots in your chest. In an advanced disease, only it is recommended and the doctors manage it. Now it indicates the extent of involvement of your lungs, and there is a scoring system also in that so-called spots or consolidations or the marks in your chest. And if necessary, depending on the scoring, the doctor prescribe steroid for further care.
You mean the patient is going for a CT scan of the lungs and the spots are seen in the chest? Is that what you're saying, doctor?
Yes, CT scan of the chest, I mean, or the lungs, or the spots
whenever the spots are
whenever
seen.
the spots are there.
So the steroids are given as treatment to be able to flush it out right in the beginning if it's in the first stage, I guess.
Only not all the patients. We are not doing CT scan chest for all the patients. Only a few who are in the advanced stage, like difficulty in breathing, and this kind of patient who has already lungs involvement. Then only it is recommended to do.
Or
We will not
breathlessness, anything.
breathlessness. Otherwise, it is not.
Thank you, Rahul. I hope that's answered your question. Deepika Mondral now joins us. Geetika, namaste, welcome to India Science. You're joining us from where, Geetika?
Hello. Yeah, I'm joining from Mumbai.
Namaste. How's Mumbai doing?
Well, it is recovering, healing, so far.
Great to know that.
Okay, please ask your question. Namaste and welcome to India Science.
Okay, thank you. Hello, sir. My question is, we all know that India is currently seeing the worst ever spike in the country, and we are hearing about patients being turned away from hospitals and healthcare is being denied. But I would like to hear it from you as a doctor, what is the ground reality, and how are doctors managing the patients in a situation like this?
Yes, very good question. It's very difficult to manage all these patients. There is a huge influx of patients and resources are limited. So from our side, we are prioritizing towards the more affected and the serious patients or the critical patients. And at the same time, we are not denying treatment to other patients also. To the less critical patients, we are encouraging them for the home care and treatment at home. So helping them to take medications, how to manage at home and the other ends, we are trying.
And doctor, to all our viewers, I believe the home ICUs are also being set up by so many people who are coming forward from society. As you said, care should be given to patients who are actually in need of the hospital beds. And here I'd like to add that even doctors are getting down with COVID. The nursing staff is also getting down. So they're also working at 50% capacity, right?
Yes.
And you're also human after all, and you're in contact with the COVID patients throughout the day. So it is more likely. Another thing that I would like to add is do not overstay in the hospitals, please. What is being seen is people are not leaving the hospitals, and as such what is happening is that others who want to be there and who should be there, who should get a chance to get treatment, whose right it is to get treatment, are being denied that right because you are overstaying.
Yes, it's a panic, yeah, very much. Because please do not panic. My sincere request to everybody, please do not panic, because everybody is panicked and that's how it is happening.
Absolutely.
Yes, so much of overcrowd and all this. Many patients can be managed at home.
And everything about COVID is now available on Google, available everywhere. Take steam, take inhalations, take ajwain and take nariyal ka tel, and there's so many home remedies as we all know. But the first thing is I need oxygen. I mean, you are having oxygen concentrators also, but of course, if it goes down to 80 or to that level, then you need to see admission. Then you need to seek admission. But it has been noticed, and doctors are in tandem with this, that people with 90 oxygen level are also going to trying and getting admitted by calling the CMO, by calling so and so, and as a result, the people who are actually needing it are dying.
So everybody at home should monitor their oxygen with a pulse oximeter. Up to 95%, they do not require oxygen at all. And if it is below 95, then they have to do something.
Doctor, another thing, it has been noticed that women are having more antibodies. This is according to some recent studies. Do you justify this, or would you just like to look the other way?
Further studies are going, it's not yet fully established. Studies going on. So right now, nothing much can be said about that.
Absolutely. We'll go on to our next question. Meanwhile, just can you tell us, till we take the next caller, what is BiPAP and why is it given, doctor?
BiPAP, it's a type of ventilator support that is pumping oxygen into the patient's, directly into the patient's body, patient's lungs rather. So patients with a low oxygen saturation, they get benefited with this BiPAP machine.
Doctor, we have another caller now, Suresh from Visakhapatnam. Namaste, Suresh ji. Welcome to India Science. Puchiye apna sawal. After this, I would like to request you to tell all our viewers who are a little panicky, who have that anxiety level, and I don't blame them, what else can they do to take oxygen treatment? What exercises do you recommend? What home remedies do you recommend? Namaste Suresh ji, please ask your question. Yes.
Namaste ma'am, namaste sir. My
Namaste
question
ji.
is,
Namaste.
sir, what is the CRP or C-reactive protein that doctors are looking for in my blood report, and should I worry about it?
Yes, good question. CRP or C-reactive protein, it's a type of protein that is synthesized in our liver. And once it is synthesized, it gets released into the bloodstream. And what happens when there is some kind of infection or inflammation in the body, the synthesis of this CRP goes up. So it is a marker how we can assess the severity of infection. Similarly, when there is a COVID infection, the CRP or C-reactive protein goes up. And the level of the CRP, the quantitative analysis, is directly proportional to severity of infection. So we are doing CRP periodically to monitor whether the infection is worsening or improving.
So this was an excellent question. I mean, really.
Yeah. So in that way, it is indicating whether you are recovering or not. When the level is high, then your doctor will help. Your family physician will help. If it is slowly, it is coming down, means you are improving. It's a good sign.
There is another question on our YouTube. Dr. Vivek Shukla is asking, the necessary injection that people are now looking for everywhere, stored by everybody, you know what I'm talking about, remdesivir, how does that monitor or that do away with the virus, or does it actually?
As WHO said, that it is not a magical drug. It helps, certainly it helps, but the way people are dying for it, it's not necessary. Okay, sometimes...
All right, tell us how it helps, doctor. We just want to understand how. And
it is believed...
What is the process?
Yeah, it is believed that when it is given on time, that is the first week of infection, the duration of the illness comes down. So it is helpful. But in a very advanced disease, it doesn't help.
All right. So in the first week you can take it.
So the first week it is effective, the duration of the illness
But the
comes
injection
down.
needs to be administered by a medical personnel or a doctor.
Yes, certainly.
You cannot store it or black market it and keep it at home and think that you can take it. It would be having adverse effects.
No way, yes.
You cannot. Is it a steroid? What is it?
No, it is not a steroid. It's an antiviral medication.
It's an
basically.
antiviral
medications. Yes, it was first manufactured in when there was Ebola, during the Ebola time, and now the benefit of this thing goes in favor of this COVID virus.
Okay.
But yes, it cannot be done, cannot be administered without medical supervision. No.
And it is some kind of a chain of injections also. I think 4 need to be taken at a particular time in the day.
At a particular time, it should be taken, yes. The doctor will give the injections, dose, everything. Can be 5 days, can be more than that.
But then if everybody got this shot, then won't we be saving lives is my question.
It is not necessary for everybody and should not be misused, should be judiciously used.
It would be having adverse effects,
yes,
is it?
Certainly.
We joined by another caller. Renuka ji, namaste. She's come to us from Nagpur. Please ask your question at...
I just need to check that if my father had taken the first dose of vaccination, then he was detected with coronavirus. And now his second vaccination is due. So can he take his second vaccination?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
We didn't get that question properly.
Can you please
repeat? Renuka ji?
Yes, ma'am. My father had taken first dose of vaccination. And after then, he was detected with coronavirus. Now his second vaccination is due. So can he take his second vaccination?
Of course, I think there's a 30 days window. No, 15 days.
No, right now, he cannot take coronavirus vaccine. Right now, he has to wait for 2 months.
Oh.
He has to wait for 2 months. Certainly, he can go for the second dose of vaccine after 2 months.
He'll have to wait for that
period.
period.
Have to wait for that time.
That means after you develop, if you develop coronavirus or COVID-19 and you're detected positive, then you have to wait for your second dose. And you should probably declare it that you've got the virus and then when you recover from that, then you go and
Yes, they can go and take it.
and that is the way.
But it is necessary. Second dose is necessary.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
All right, we have another YouTube question. Does COVID-19 affect our nervous system?
Yes.
ये तो आपसे ज़्यादा कोई आंसर नहीं कर सकता. किस तरह? Please बताएं.
And it
समझाएं
does.
हमको.
There are some reports of involvement of the central nervous system. It can cause stroke, it can cause dementia, it can cause hemorrhage, and it can cause some neuropathy, some problem with the nerves, tingling, numbness, this kind of sensation. So this virus doesn't spare central nervous system even. Yes.
Oh my God. You mean right now it's sparing it because we're only hearing about lungs. So
It
the
is
next
less
mutation
common.
could be, because virus is smarter than you and us.
Yes.
And then the whole of mankind and humanity. So it might next take on that. So why don't we make something which can safeguard us like a shield for the nervous system, doctor?
It is, first thing, it is not very common. It is relatively uncommon. Study is going on. It has happened so fast. There is hardly we are getting time to do the work. It will take time. Research is going on. So much of study is going on, and still it's a challenge to study the virus properly. So I think success will come. It is taking time, but success will come soon.
All right, we have Suman from Gwalior. Namaste, Suman. Welcome to India Science. पूछिए अपना सवाल सुमन जी.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, my question is, these days we are also hearing about cytokine storm. So I would like to ask if we have patients with comorbidities and who are isolating at home, how should we assess them for cytokine storm, and what are the signs that we should look for?
Yes, it's another very good question. Now, let me explain what is cytokine. Cytokines is a type of chemical that is released by our immune system. Now, when there is an insult or attack or infection into the body, foreign invasion into the body, the immune system becomes active and they release these cytokines, this chemical or the immune mediator cytokines into the blood, into the organs to combat that infection or inflammation. Same thing happened during COVID infection. COVID virus triggers a response so that our immune system gets activated. Now what happens, sometimes there is overwhelming reaction of our immune system, and a massive amount of cytokine gets released. Once they are released, they become an enemy to our own organs like lungs and liver and start destroying our lungs and liver. So it has a fatal outcome or near fatal outcome. So this phenomena is called cytokine storm. Now your next you want to know how to assess and when it happens. It happens typically after 4 to 5 days of infections. You can monitor the patient at home. There are some signs, ominous symptoms you can say, before the cytokine storm. Like patients get persistently high fever. Even with paracetamol, it is not less than 101 degree Fahrenheit or even without.
But this is not a very common problem. That's what you're trying to say. It happens to very few people.
No, this is not a common problem. This limited, very few patients, they have this. Persistent elevation of temperature, continuously vomiting, persistent difficulty in breathing, these things. And other parameters are there, laboratory parameters are there, like the CRP, someone was asking, CRP was persistently high, interleukin 6, another blood test, it will be high, ferritin level, all these things to be monitored. If they are high, D-dimer also will be high. If they are not improving, that means there is a possibility, there is a red flag, there is a possibility of cytokine storm can happen. So your family doctor or whoever is treating you can help you. These clinical parameters and blood parameters should be monitored to prevent cytokine storm.
So that's one kind of a storm also, and doctors flagged it. Meanwhile, we're joined by Shweta from Surat. Namaste, Shweta ji. Please ask your question. Welcome to India Science.
Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, actually, my oxygen reading is between 85 and 90. And I was also advised to take, oxygen at home. because there's no oxygen in the market. So like, what should I do? Like, should I stay at home or should I visit hospital?
If I understand correctly, you want to know that if your oxygen level is 90 and what you will do at home, right?
85 and 90, and I was advised to take oxygen at home because there's no oxygen in hospitals and markets.
Okay,
We cannot
okay.
take the risk of it. So,
Okay,
like, what
okay.
should I do?
No, 90 is okay.
No, I understand. Now, first thing, if it is 90, first and again, my same thing I'm telling you again and again, do not panic. Second thing, you must be checking with a pulse oximeter. Check your pulse oximeter whether it is giving correct reading or not. Okay, check other fingers also, put it into the other fingers and see the reading is same or not. Also check whether the tracing along with the pulse oximeter oxygen reading, it some tracing comes. The tracings are coming or not properly or not. Make sure all these things are happening. Also, if you have nail polish, remove it and check, because nail polish sometimes interfere
Gives
with
a
the
wrong
reading.
reading.
Is a wrong reading. Okay, even doing all these things, if it is 90, deep breathing exercise can be done.
Some
Sometimes yoga, especially in the prone position, breathing exercise in prone
मतलब
position.
उल्टे हो जाइए और
उल्टे,
हाँ,
lie down
on your
belly.
belly.
Yes, this is, sorry, I'm using medical
No,
language.
but doctor, another thing that we're noticing is a lot of people are just buying the oxygen concentrator and taking in oxygen. When it's showing 90, even that can be dangerous, is what I was trying to say. That also I've heard somewhere on the TV only. I'm afraid of from doctors like you. So could you qualify this statement of mine? Is it correct or not? Because they're just taking oxygen just to give themselves that, I'm taking more oxygen, I'm taking more oxygen. No, that's not correct.
Judicious.
Your body knows what to take, when to take, how much to take.
Yes, oxygen to be taken judiciously.
And there's online consultation happening in all hospitals. Why don't you just go to gov.in, take down the numbers from the government website and call up. There will be a doctor online. Please ask him these questions. And of course, do keep writing to us. We are indeed very, very privileged that we have so many callers. But this is not an oxygen emergency that you take it all in. We joined by another caller, HB Singh from Ghaziabad. Namaste. Welcome to India Science. पूछिए अपना सवाल.
Sir, my question is, I have COVID symptoms. What my test is negative? Is RT-PCR not catching the new strain of the COVID virus? What should I do, doctor?
Yes, the first thing is RT-PCR will be positive when you get the test done after 3 to 4 days after your infection. So it takes little time to become positive. Second thing, yes, with the new strain, sometimes RT-PCR can be negative. If with the new strain cannot detect, sometimes it cannot detect the mutant strain of this virus.
तो किस तरह के symptoms हैं? आप symptoms explain करें. डॉक्टर साहब यहीं समझाएंगे.
The fever.
हाँ.
I am having continuous fever despite taking the medicine.
उसके अलावा कुछ है? डायरिया है, जैसे डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया था.
No, there is no diarrhea.
Breathing
but fever.
discomfort?
No, breathing problem has not started yet.
Okay, so may not be it is COVID, but yes, sometimes COVID symptoms are unpredictable. You isolate yourself. Maintain the COVID behavior like wearing mask, washing hands, on social distance. And if you are still keen on investigations, go for genetic study, gene sequencing. Okay, that will give idea.
जैसे आपने कहा RT-PCR टेस्ट 2 दिन के बाद दोबारा कराएं, फिर हमसे अगले सोमवार पूछ ले अगर कोई ऑनलाइन कंसल्टेशन नहीं हो सकता. नहीं तो हमारी वेबसाइट पे आप सवाल करिए, हम जवाब देंगे. डॉक्टर साहब जवाब देंगे. Send us the RT-PCR report in another 2 days. That means if today is Monday, then you can go for it by Wednesday. If you do have COVID-19, it will show positive. Like Dr. Saab said, it takes 3 to 4 days. Please write in your queries. We'll answer them for you. Meanwhile, we're joined by another caller. Sorry, I didn't get your name. Please introduce yourself. Welcome to India Science. Yes, we have somebody from Pune. Kunal ji, namaste. Welcome to India Science.
Sir, my question is, sir, of late we have got to know that the UK variant is sort of not reflecting in one of the gene in RT-PCR test. Is that true or some more details can you share?
Yes, actually RT-PCR detects RNA, RNA virus that is whether present in the host's body or not. Usually we take samples from the throat and the nasal mucosa. So that is RT-PCR. It's a RNA. Yes, sometimes, yes, in the UK strain, sometimes RT-PCR is missing the virus, yes. But if you have symptoms of COVID, you consider yourself as a COVID patient and maintain your COVID protocol.
And another thing that people are writing into us is that a lot of people are having anxiety because they're reading the news that, now somebody's written to us, people are being banned from coming to India. And, these kind of things are just playing over their mental, demography of their bodies. And they're not able to align their body and the geometry of their body with the outer, thing in nature. They're not in sync actually. So they're going through a lot of depression. Anything that you'd like to recommend to such people, old, young, everybody is a little unhappy and sad.
Again, my answer is do not panic. Keep yourself busy, watch good movies and exercise. And try to enjoy with whatever limited resources you have.
Exactly. At least you're alive, you're breathing, you're everything much better than the others.
Yes, much better. And
thank God, I think, for everything that
I
you
get
have.
so much of rest at home.
So much of rest at home, exactly. You would have never got that. I think that is a bonus that we've not thought of.
Yes.
And I like the way you're smiling, Doctor. When you're not resting at all, yes? We have with us now Kritika Mathur from Baroda. Namaste Kritika ji, पूछिए अपना सवाल जी.
Namaste ma'am, namaste sir.
Namaste.
So actually we are saying that there is a shortage of vaccine. So I just wanted to know, can 2 jabs of different vaccines be used? Can we do that?
No, certainly not. You cannot mix a vaccine as of now, but studies are going on whether something
Maybe
may
that
come up
also
in the
comes
future.
later.
That
Like
comes later.
there are 2 vaccines now in India, Covishield and Covaxin.
Cannot be mixed up.
Cannot be mixed. So both the doses of Covishield and both the doses of Covaxin.
The same
whichever.
vaccine has to be given.
And the same...
Maintaining the same distance or time span.
वही 4 हफ्ते
Yeah.
जो भी है.
Okay, thank you so much.
Doctor, there is a bigger window for the vaccine because I took my second dose very recently, so I know. It says the government has very kindly given that window. It's, I think, 20 to 22 days for AIMS.
Yeah.
There is a big window. So there is time for people to recover from COVID-19 stroke. The government has taken care of all these things. So there is no reason to panic. आप कहीं भी जा रहे हैं आजकल तो travel ना ही करें तो ज़्यादा अच्छा है.
Yes, certainly.
Because you should just sit in your home and, like he said, just
sit at home and
do
relax.
some yoga and meditation or read a book.
Should be cut down. Yep.
We have another caller, HB Sharma ji, is joining us from Meerut. Namaste, Mr. Sharma. पूछिए अपना सवाल. Hello. I think there is a lag, doctor. So let me ask you another question that is coming to my mind right now. When do you see the peak coming in? Is there some kind of statistics that you would like to share according to the mathematics perhaps that you have been doing?
The virologists are working on it. There is so many studies going on, but it is expected to come by maybe second week of May. Maybe second week of May it is expected to come.
Second week of May you can feel that the cases will start going down?
Yes, the peak will come.
And also we'd like to reassure everybody who's watching this program that now there is no shortage of oxygen. The doctors are taking care of it, the hospitals are taking care of it, and every hospital has somebody called a facilities director. This is what I got to know in my, the immunization drives which I've been doing for India Science, and that person is the person in charge of all these things, from where the oxygen is coming. And luckily people are asking very intelligent questions about, RT-PCR and what is detected. So India is becoming very wise on the whole, and which we should have been doing for a longer time, but better late than never.
Yes, at least this is happening now.
Now, you see the kind of questions they asked you about
Yes,
proteins
very
and all.
intelligent.
Very intelligent and very, well thought of questions.
Very good
So,
questions.
in the end, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Debabrata Mukherjee, for joining us
My
today
pleasure.
and for, taking out time from your very, very busy schedule. बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. And let us hope that India makes this, COVID surge also die down as soon as possible. Maybe we have a miracle. All I can say is thank you very much for joining us, and we'd like to reach out to all doctors and all frontline workers and tell them a big thank you from all of us. Meanwhile, India, mask up, take the jab. Namaste.